Hey guys, how's it going? It's Leon here. Today I want to talk about how sometimes we feel like we want to be able to, especially when we're really suffering and really having a hard time or going through a negative spiral, we start to wonder, why can't I see things from a higher perspective? And we've all been there before where we've been really suffering, and we've also been there before where we could see things from an enlightened perspective. Maybe we're just like going on a walk and we can just see our whole entire life at a much higher level. So we start to tell ourselves, like, when I'm in this really bad state, how come I just can't be there in that higher wisdom state? Why can't that be? So if we're in a really low and dark state of mind, if we're trying to force ourselves to have a higher perspective or to access our higher wisdom in that moment, it doesn't work. And it's very human to really want to do that. I want to do that myself. Like, I'm feeling in a bad state. It's like, how come I just can't see things from that state of mind I was able to be in before, where I felt like I had this higher wisdom about, or higher insight about my own life? How come I just can't get there, right? And you get really frustrated. Well, if you try to force that higher point of view onto a lower point of view, that's not really coming from a state of higher wisdom at all, or enlightenment, because it's trying to rush the process. It's trying to want to bypass that negative state by just forcing a positive state on top of it, and it doesn't really work that way. When you were in those states of mind where you're accessing higher wisdom, it felt authentic, it felt real, like you just really just genuinely processing, seeing your life in a whole different way. You're not forcing it upon yourself. So you have to remember that all human experiences are part of the human experience, even low states of mind. And an all-encompassing view of human nature is able to accept all parts of the human condition, whether we are feeling low or feeling really well. So here's what you could do if you are in that low state of mind when you're really experiencing difficulties and challenges in your life emotionally, is to first of all be present to that emotion, that the difficult challenge that you are experiencing. Really feel where it is in your body that you're carrying it. And this is a process-oriented approach, is to first be able to allow yourself to process the emotions, to be able to speak to them, to be able to write them out. And we think, no, I have to overwrite all these negative thoughts and feelings with higher perspective. But it doesn't work that way. That's a superficial approach. It's really to just allow yourself to have that space to express yourself authentically as you are feeling those feelings and as you're having those negative thoughts. Then what you want to do is to see, when I'm feeling this, what am I needing? When I'm having these negative emotions, what kind of needs am I looking for? And when you're able to explore your negative state in this open-minded way, to just allow yourself to express those thoughts and emotions, you're actually coming from a non-judgmental place. When you're allowing these thoughts and emotions to be able to be expressed unfiltered, then when you're able to do this processing, then you find it to be naturally easier to look at your situation from a rational perspective, to think about ways you could cope, ways that you could manage the situation. You don't want to force yourself to get into this state of mind, but first allow that processing, the emotional processing, and then getting into this rational perspective. And then you can start to see things from a more intuitive perspective, from an impersonal perspective, coming outside of your own personalization of the situation. But in order to do that, you must allow that personalized side of yourself, to think, part of you that's taking things personally, to be able to fully express itself as is. So, and then it becomes much easier to see things from outside of your own perspective, from a broader point of view. So to summarize, whether we are feeling low or we're feeling really well, all these states of mind are part of what makes the human experience. And it's helpful to first process the lower states before arriving at the higher states. But what I would say is that the all-encompassing state of wisdom is inclusive of all states of the human experience. It sees the value of the lower states as well as the higher states, and is able to see the lower states from a standpoint of non-judgment and allow for the processing of the lower states. So if you want to learn at a deeper level how to be able to do this and really sink in this knowledge that I'm sharing with you, what you could do is that you could read articles that I've written about this topic, and I'll be posting them in the comment section or description box of YouTube or of my Instagram comment section. So thank you so much for watching.